So what we're going to be doing today is that we're going to be covering the NPL, so the National Physical Laboratory Placements. And they are created by NPL, and then we as SetNet help to fill the spaces. And what's great about having NPL just around the corner, it's a lot easier when it comes to finding an accommodation, because you tend to just live where you're at and you can work from there. I'm doing this presentation on behalf of Jonathan Williams. So some things I'm not going to quite be as clear about, and I apologize for that ahead of time, but any questions or comments, you can send them directly to Jonathan Williams if you have anything you want a bit more clarification on if I'm not able to help. So a bit of background, who is aware of NPL? Okay, who's actually been to NPL? Oh, excellent, very good, very good. What'd you guys think of it?
It's massive.
It's massive, that's right, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the fact that it's massive and it's really close to London, which means that it's using a lot of space, which means that it's a company that needs to keep on developing, keep on creating new technology in order to financially warrant having such a big big space. So it is a state-of-the-art actually laboratory facility. As a way to sort of think about it, it's got 388 laboratories actually, just the building itself. It is the world-leading National Measurement Institute. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into the examples of previous placements, talking about how measurement is very important when it comes to the to NPL. And it's expert in knowledge transfer, which is quite important, particularly for those that want to connect maybe with academia in the future, because there's a thing called KEF, which is Knowledge Exchange Framework, which shows the research that is happening at an institution and how it's connected to business. So that's why NPL is quite closely connected with Royal Holloway, because we have this transfer support system in place. And it was founded in 1900, which, you know, it's been 123 years now, so it's been going on for quite some time. And if you have a chance to have a tour of it, I recommend you do. It's surprising when you go there, you're like, oh wow, it's actually this huge building and it's all for physics research. So a bit of background of what NPL does. So it's research and development primarily, and it's technical services for public and the private sector. They develop and they disseminate measurement standards. That's their main focus. It's quite big. It's actually focusing on different targets and particular measurements. And it's the promotion of science and engineering, so it's actually bringing both in. So if you do work at NPL, you'll probably work alongside chemists, physicists, engineers. It's actually quite ranging. So it's actually interesting that you're going to get a good cross-section of scientists at NPL. So just a bit of background, a bit more of their growing demands, what's happening, and what is currently being looked at when it comes to NPL. So health and safety and different technologies that are related to health and safety, and then PPE equipment that's related to that. The environment, which is a big one, healthcare, manufacturing, energy, communications, transport, and science in general. They've got two big research projects that they're working on right now that they're looking for placement students, and they're related to manufacturing and measurement. So we'll talk about that a little bit further into the presentation. So far okay? Yeah? So a bit of background, examples of what's actually happened in previous placements. You get an idea of the type of things that they work on with students. And these placement students are actually SetNet placement students, so they are at the end of their second year or at the end of their third year. So they are the equivalent of what you are now. So you can see that this is what they have been doing, and this was in 2016. This was Julia Partridge, and she was from the University of Sussex. And she developed development of a finite element model and console for heat flow and nanostructures. Measurements of superconducting devices in the laboratory. So the experimental data, so what she was working on actually is hysteretic behavior So what it is that it's the current and voltage curve devices that show hysteretic behavior. So she's trying to go different to Josephson junctions. Josephson junctions are the weak link between two superconductors. And hers is actually different. At the top right, you'll see that it looks kind of like an X. So hers is actually becoming a smaller product. So what she's trying to do is create nano. So she's trying to alleviate the weak link properties with the Josephson junctions with her research. And so these are nano junctions, and they're making the junction very thin. It's a bit too narrow to be a superconductor. And so once it goes above the normal current, so you can see up here, let me show you, where you can see the flat line. The flat line indicates that that's the normal current, and then it starts to rise. So when it goes above the normal current, it becomes a resistor. In this case, they start to heat up. And you can see with the narrow shape that's here, that means it's going to heat up faster than it would be if it's a Josephson junction. So the return to the critical current will be smaller because it'll turn hotter faster. So it'll return back quicker. So this way the measuring is at these junctions, and they were measuring two types of materials, aluminium and niobium. And a bit more, so she was using COMSOL as a way to actually just create different models. So it's the finite analysis software. Who's actually looked or at least knows about COMSOL? Couple? Yeah, so you'll be using that if you actually do go work for NPL, and they'll be training on campus, so it won't be just, you're like, here's COMSOL, enjoy. So you'll be actually work on current software that's happening right now. And she's looking at which bits heat up and modeling it. So you can see that here, at this point, yellow is the hottest, and then just how it radiates outward. So that is what her current research is. And she's using MATLAB to build onto COMSOL. The reason why is because COMSOL is not good at conducting superconductivity, doesn't include it. So she's using MATLAB to fix COMSOL to get to the data that she wants. And remember, second year student. So all this she was learning while being there. And so the thermal modeling, so she's using COMSOL, and she is retrapping current for different base temperatures, and that's what this is showing, the different temperatures that are there. And as it gets warmer, the retrapping current goes down. Then she's compared that to the data that she has in her experiment, so that she's comparing those two. And she developed her own parameter to tweak the experiment to fit the data. So she's able to actually modify it a bit. And she also used an analytical model. So she was actually a physics and math student. So she used the mathematics portion of her degree to help create an analytical model that also underpinned what she was researching. So that's how she was able to modify both and use both sides of her degree. Does that help at all? Am I making it a little bit clearer? Yes, okay. And lastly, this is just showing you the Josephson junction behaviors. So these are other examples that are available. So the first one actually is the Shapiro steps. So you can see that they're very short and succinct. So to get to a Shapiro effect, actually you use light and you hit it on the Josephson junction, and then you get the Shapiro effect. And this is what's very important with NPL. So NPL, it helps define what kilograms are, things like that. So it's very precise. It's very precise when it actually does try to measure. So the frequency of light is closely related to the level as it steps down. So you can see as it steps down, so then you can actually pinpoint the accuracy. And the voltage is actually a really high percentage of accuracy. And the other one actually is squids, and that measures the magnetic field. So that's going to be the output that you get from that one, and that's actually also very, very accurate when you go through Josephson junctions. But there is the weak link is the effect that becomes an anomaly, and that's what she was trying to avoid. So the second example, this is actually Kieran Edmonds. He's from here. And his was the effects of NO2 and SO2 on the electronic properties. And what I've got here is showing you a bit more information. So he was actually working on graphene bars. So who knows graphene? Okay, tell me graphene. What is graphene? You. Yes.
Thin pencils and sheets of carbon.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Oh my God, you guys are telling me stuff, and it's great because it's in my notes, so I know you're right. So it's great. So he is measuring the resistance of the material as he changes the magnetic field. So he's looking at how it changes in different environments. So he created. You right? Good. See, everyone helping each other. I love it. So he created a chamber to detect it, and so this is an example of the chamber. And so his was actually creating the chamber, and then he was analyzing the different output. And you can see that the coil's there in the center. That's actually the magnetic field itself. So it was just showing that he was using graphene in order to do the measurements. The third person, Lucy Ladyman. So she worked on squids and hyquids in the development of low temperature semiconductor amplifiers. And what I can really show you is these. So these are nanobridges. These appear to be the Shapiro steps again. The reason why this is all I'm saying is because this was the information I was given. So let's get into what you guys are going to really like, more about the opportunities at NPL. So NPL currently has two big groups that they're looking at for placement students right now. And they usually get about 6, 7 in the summertime, so you're not just fighting amongst 1 out of 50, you know, you do actually have a good shot when it comes to an NPL placement through SEPNet. So we've got quantum information processing group and then graphene metrology. So a bit more background, here we go. So for the first group, so it's measurements of superconducting devices. And then it's the design, simulation, fabrication, and measurement of the qubit circuits. So you're actually going to be measuring these circuits and then doing the analysis on there. So the opportunities that are available will be scientific programs, so actually programming Python of lab telemetry. So if anyone feel that they've got a very good background when it comes to Python, I recommend you pushing yourselves on that one and trying to put that in your CV and cover letter of different examples that you've done in classes and stuff like that. Simulation of coupled 2-qubit circuits. Raspberry Pi development of experimental control systems, which actually I think kind of sounds like a really cool one. So I think you might go for that one. CAD design of experimental components. So if you've got a good background of CAD, or maybe you're actually just quite interested and you want to know more about it, that might be a good one to also go for. There are other ones, but these are the main ones that they're looking at right now for this group. I will be putting this up online and sending it to you all as well, but I'm really glad that you guys are actually very keen on writing things down, so thank you. Okay with the slide so far? All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next group, so graphene metrology. So theirs is going to be, the aim of the project is would be image trend. Let me get to my notes. That'll help me. Okay, so it explores the possibility of extending fabrication technology to encapsulated devices. So it would open up a range of possibilities, both at the fundamental and the commercial level, because graphene is now becoming like the hot new thing to look at, and it has amazing properties already. So basically, they want to study graphene and how it can affect other materials and what benefits could be. So that's what it's looking at. So the encapsulation of graphene devices vastly improves the device quality itself. That's what they've currently found, and they're trying to hopefully apply that to other devices. Okay. So those are the two big groups, and those are the different projects that they're working on. But again, like I said, they do about 6 or 7 during the summertime, so there'll be quite a lot that is available. And so Jonathan Williams, he is unfortunately able to come today. But he's fantastic. He responds very, very quickly to any queries. And if you just want to send him an email to be like, my interest is this, I know about X, what do you think about this? He's very good at just having that general discussion amongst yourselves, and that actually has been a way before where students have found placements, is actually just having a conversation with him. The projects themselves will become live to apply on the 1st of March because they will be applied alongside all other SETNet available placements, because NPL and SETNet work very closely together when it comes to placements. So on the 1st of March they'll be available, and then you apply directly to NPL. So they will request a CV and a cover letter that's directed to NPL and to the project that they want. So you can even apply to NPL more than once if there's more than one project that you are interested in. But that means you will have to write more than one cover letter because it'll have to be bespoke to that project, because they are more likely to want to say yes to you if you've done a bit more gravitas, a bit more push for that particular role, rather than just, I want to work at NPL. I want to work at NPL because. So make sure that you do that. And the applications will end on the 31st of March. And then once that's done, NPL will then reach out to those that are successful for an interview. They tend to do face-to-face interviews because NPL is so physically close to Royal Holloway. If it was much further afield, they probably do a Teams meeting. And while we go through that process, there will be opportunities to work on CV, cover letter, as well as interview skills so you are prepared. And I hope that's okay when it comes to the NPL placements. Do you guys have any questions about NPL placements? And I could try to answer them as best as I can. No? Do some of them seem kind of interesting? Like, well, that might be the ones that you want to go for. Okay. So a bit more, I want to give you a bit more information of external ones. So these are not through SEPNet. These are external ones that you have to apply to directly if you want to have a chance to get into them. So DESI, unfortunately, is due tomorrow. So if you want to work there, I suggest you hurry up. Unfortunately, there is an application that ended today at noon, and that was for CERN. Yes. I actually have been working with a couple of students applying to CERN, and there's one student in particular who has been just like on it. So this information has been out there, so just to let you know. Do people need me to tell you what these acronyms are? Or do you know these? You don't know? Okay, that's fine. So I know them, but it's better if I do my notes. Okay, so it's the Deutsche Elektronen Synchrotron. So it's a synchrotron institute. So you'll be going abroad if you want to apply for DESI. And they're fantastic. And they do fantastic with students. I do recommend if you can apply within a day, do so. Just try, just see, you never know. So then we have the UK Research, Innovation Science, Technology and Facilities Council. So they actually do a few more than just one placement. So if you feel as though that you want to possibly go there, apply. They do more than one placement. Leonardo is quite good. I do recommend you go try for them. Institut Langevin, my pronunciation is not great, is also open. So Story, Lancaster University. So that one's actually mostly statistical and operational research. So if you've got a good mathematics background, or if you want to do more operational research, maybe even a good way to test if you want to maybe go into PhD work in the future. It's a good way to sort of test if that's the life of a PhD candidate is what if you want. I'd rather you spend 8 weeks learning that rather than 3 years going, I really wish I had gone into industry. So it gives you that bit of a test. So then you also have the Institute of Cancer Research. That's actually fantastic because they do quite a lot of cutting edge technology right now, because always trying to detect different modes of how to identify where is cancer within the body, and then how to hopefully support someone and become healthy again. So there's quite a lot going on there. Just putting in the SEPNet one so you are aware. NPL, you can see that they coincide, so they will be applied together. So if you apply for an NPL, it is technically a SEPNet placement. SPIN is the Space Placements in Industry. So if you're interested in aerospace, that is a fantastic one. We're going to try getting someone to come in to do a talk for us, considering that the applications aren't until spring. So we're going to try to get someone in March to do a talk. And then we also have GORS, which is the Government Operational Research Service. So that's also a fantastic one, especially if you are interested in operations or research, because I saw that you're nodding your head about that. And that's a great one as well to hopefully go to, engage with, and see if you have any opportunities you want to apply to. I have more information available with me or in my office. This is just to give you a snapshot of what is available now. Does that help? Any questions on these? No? Are any of these you think you may apply to?
Yes.
Yeah? Which ones?
Spin.
Spin. Oh, you're okay. Oh, that's excellent. All right, I'm gonna definitely write that. No, that's fantastic because we really want to make sure that students have the chance to see the different opportunities available. Yes.
How come ICR has 2 days in it?
Thank you very much. So ICR, so they're going to be applying to different research groups, so they do more than one placement. So the vast majority are due the 17th of February, but bespoke ones are due the 9th. So if you are interested, I do recommend you go to the ICR website and then look at the different groups so you know which is the right deadline. Thank you very much. I forgot to point that out. Any other questions on these? Once the updates of the exact dates for SPIN and GORS open up, I will be posting that. So that's just to let you know that they are in the horizon. But rather than just waiting for SPIN, I do recommend that you apply to others. Guys, thank you. Instead of just waiting for SPIN, I do recommend that you apply to others first, just in case, because then it gives you that experience of application, that experience of interview, just in case if SPIN doesn't become something that's available to you or you don't get offered SPIN, you do have something else as well. Okay? As well as these, there'll be internal placements here. We already do have a student here that's been working with academic here who actually has created a placement, an internal one. So we do have that as well. So those will be coming in. Those will be come out around April time for more information on those. And I'll try to get Andrew Casey to come in as well to talk a bit more about that. Questions? You all right? Okay. Let me go back. Okay, remember these will be online, but if you want to take any pictures of it now so you know the dates, let me know. They're also on the hallway. You all right? Okay. So next, just want to give you a bit more of what's happening in the next couple of months. So you can see that we have done quite a lot this month. We've already had the SetNet Placement Introductory Talk, and then we had Lee Maxfield from Thames Water come in. Lisa from last week, I thought she was fantastic last week. She was really great, and she talked a lot about the personal experience and how that affects yourself when it comes to studies and then going into work. And then don't forget, you got to take care of yourself as well as looking for employment. So that was an interesting, good dynamic that she was presenting. And today is the NPL placements. Next week, on the 8th, is actually just for the first years, so it's a special lecture for them, giving them an introduction to SetNet so that they're aware going forward there'll be placements available. So they will know in the future that this is going to be happening, CVs, cover letters, supporting students to get into placement so that they're just aware of it ahead of time. On the 16th of February, who is aware of the alumni events? Who's going? More hands. Yes. Okay. So it's actually it is a great event. I'll talk a bit more about it in a second, and I really do recommend that you guys go, even if it is just to stop in for a bit, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. On the 20th, we have barriers against placements. There are those that are probably not sure if they want to do a placement or they feel they can do a placement. There's a lot of different reasons behind it. It could be a matter of your summertime, you tend to use that because you need to work, because you need to financially support yourself for the rest of the academic year. How do you manage that with placement? You have a lot of family obligations. You may feel as though that it's not necessarily for you. There's lots of different things that are going on, and it's just a presentation to discuss that, and then we'll discuss it as a group as well. And then we can do a one-to-one as well, if it's something that you want to look at. And then we're going to be doing interview workshops to get you ready to apply for placements. And we've got Jana Seabrook. She's coming in from Careers, and we'll be working with you on that. On the 1st of March, 3rd and 4th years, have you guys heard about Callum Center for Fusion Energy? Okay, this place, look it up. It's really interesting. And 3rd and 4th years, they go to an actual tour of the place, and there have been a couple of spots that are still available for a few second years. So you need to reach out to me directly so that I could possibly see if I can get you in. There's only a couple of spots left because it goes for mostly 3rd and 4th years, but there are some places available. So if you're interested, go to the Callum website, have a look at it, see if it's something that you're interested in. If you want to look and maybe do more work on fusion, on energy, if it's something that you're looking at, let me know and we can see about trying to get you in. It will have to be a quick turnaround because we have to get you through security, which means a passport. And we have to get through security checks first, okay? And hopefully Jane Bratherton from Evident Scientific will be coming in. She actually talks about hardware technologies that come in to engineering, physics, mathematics, such as just work on the external, actual hardware components rather than software. We've talked about quite a lot with NPL. And then they go into industry. So that's actually interesting. And then another interview workshop with Jana Seabrook as well. And then on the 20th, we're going to be doing some drop-in sessions with Jana and myself, CV cover letters. That'll be towards the very end of SEPNet NPL placement, so it gives you one last chance to really get a bit more of a one-to-one support, if you need to, with creating these applications for potential placements. Any questions on these? Sure? Okay. So everyone's favorite event, the Alumni Event. So we've got 5 alumni that are coming in, and so we've got Ricardo Mighty, fantastic name. He runs a software development agency. So he actually did consulting. He created different businesses. So he's going to explain about the different travel, the different things that he's done, his employer journey of graduating, created business. The business didn't succeed, which he picked himself up and continued again. And you know what? That's going to happen to those that might go into industry. That does happen where you do a startup and it doesn't work out. That's fine. You learn from it and you go again. Quite a lot of startups, especially in quantum, does occur when it comes to physics. We also have Danny Ribeiro. He actually does a business strategy manager and sustainability program. So he works in banking and in sustainability. So he's actually quite an interesting person if you want to go into more of a financial field. Harriet Vanderfleet, so she's the product segment manager for Oxford Instruments. She also works on our industrial liaison board, so she does liaise and work very closely with Royal Holloway, and she's a great person to reach out to if necessary. If you want to know more about quantum technologies and how it actually applies in industry. We have Tom Wren. He's an internal consultant for Ab Initio software. If you've worked in industry, you would probably know about Ab Initio software. It is utilized quite a lot in most large industries, and they need to use that software, which means they know Tom Wren, they know the company, and he works alongside quite a lot of different companies. And he's a consultant because they work bespoke to different industries, to different companies, and that's why he's a consultant, because they build it based on what the industry expert needs. And then we have Tim Varkalis, so he's a global threat intelligence lead, so he works in cybersecurity. So we've got a different different group of people, wide range of areas. We tried to be as diverse as we could, and they've all graduated relatively recently. So you can see that they've had some experience, and they're still going through their journey as well, and hopefully that's a great way to maybe become more engaged and want to talk with them. What I'm going to be doing is I'll be reaching out to you guys to find out if there's any questions you may have for either them individually or as a group, because I want to create a panel where they answer our questions and we have more of a great dialogue between them, so we can discuss not just employer skills, but where do you see quantum technology going on in 20 years' time? You know, what is the new role, the new job that is going to be coming into the future, things like that. So different questions that you may have, that you may want to bring up, do let me know, and I can actually put it in the panel on Thursday. And are you guys going to sign up? Are you going to? Okay. I have a question. Who has a phone?
Free pizza.
There will be free pizza. Thank you, Claire. There'll be free pizza. There will be drinks.
And beer.
And beer.
And beer.
And beer. See, all of a sudden, now, with your phone,
You
wait.
put that on the bottom.
Free pizza and beer. But now, because of that, with your phones, you can use the QR code to book your place if you haven't already done. It's great. It's got a dinosaur. It's the best QR code there is. Thank you, people with their phones out. Thank you very much. Okay, before you pack up, thank you. Yes, I can see. Okay. Is everyone all right? Okay, so before we close up, let's just recap. We have NPL placements are opening up quite soon, and they'll be covering graphene and quantum are the two big areas that they're looking at, but there'll also be Python and there'll be CAD Lab. So if you have interest in any of those ones will be coming up quite soon. Jonathan Williams' email, I will send you out his email address as well, because I know that a lot of you took a picture of it, so you can ask him questions directly if that's something that you're interested in. The list of placements that are currently available are in the presentation. They're up on the board in the hallway, and again, I'll be sending them out. And setting up placements, 1st of March. And don't forget, the alumni pizza and beer is the way to go.
One more thing.
One more thing from Claire. Everyone wait.
One more thing. There is a diversity fair on Wednesday. So there's a range of employers that are really promoting diversity. And it's a really good chance to actually go and sort of try out what a career fair's like, because we've not had them on site for the last 3 years. So I'd encourage you all to go around, just meet the new employers that are there, just get a feel for sort of what they're looking for. And then we'll have another career event, normally around, I'm going to say June time as well. But it's really worth going to this one.
Okay. Thank you, Claire. So yes, the diversity event for employers coming in will be this Wednesday on campus. So have a look out. The careers newsletter should have come out on Friday or today, I would say, that had more information, but it is this Wednesday. Okay? Questions? Comments? Yes, good question, yes.
Do you have a lecture next month?
Thank you. Yes, maybe. We are reaching out to hopefully get an external person to come in to talk. I will let you guys know through Moodle what is happening with Monday, but as it's in your timetable, you'll still be here. But hopefully we will have someone in place. But yes, good eye, well done. Any other questions? No? Okay, I'll still be here for a little bit, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.